Welcome to the latest edition of the Wichita Dinner Table. Tonight is Wednesday, January 15th. We have a whole new cast for today. Temporary, probably. We'll see. We'll see how it might be a little tryout. Today we have the Kansas Gastronomist.
What's going on, Eddie?
What's going on? We have DJ Carbon.
ICT, what is good? Bam, 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 bam. Sorry, we got Troy. I got to do it myself.
We don't have the background music for you. Returning, we have Jennifer Ray from the Monarch.
Thank you for having me back.
Of course. And we have Alex Thomas. We'll go through Alex's whole rundown of 20, 50 businesses he's part of later on. What's up, Alex?
How's it going?
It's going. Real quick, Annette, she's a little under the weather. And Troy, I have no idea what Troy is doing, so...
I think he's mad at one of us. Probably you.
Why? No one can be mad at me. A lot of people are mad at me. This week's hat, we have it back. It's the Wichita Riverfest. Over the past week, they had the unveiling of the poster and button design winner. It was Terry Toomey. And also, I'm excited to announce that I'm going to be one of the new social media partners for Riverfest this year. I started a new collaborative called the Kansas Media Collective with Wichita Life, Landon over there, and I'm on just my blank, Jacob Clark with Managed to Create. So moving forward, we're hoping to work with. I can't even think of my mind's just blank. We're hoping to work with influencers, creators, just anybody in the community that wants to help spread the word of things going on in Wichita. So be on the lookout for that information.
That's an awesome team.
We're hoping so. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So let's move on. Alex, welcome to your first episode of the Dinner Table. So for those that don't know who Alex Thomas is, this guy owns a lot in town. We're talking the Cotillion, Kirby's Beer Store, Lava and Tonic, Solly Jude's, and Lucky's. Am I missing anything?
I don't know. Probably. Who knows?
Any new announcements, perhaps? Are you buying like the Monarch or something? Take some time off Jen's hands?
No. Listen, at this point, we could start negotiating. I've had a long month.
Oh, no. No. I learned my lesson when I started my first restaurant, and makes me look at people like Jen in a different light. You know, there's no way. There's not a chance.
Also, for those that don't know,
it's an interesting life choice, that's for sure.
Yes. Alex also helps out with Riverfest and Elsewhere Fest, which is going to be Somewhere Fest, with like the bookings, the marketing, and whatnot. Let's kind of jump into that part real quick. Sure. Elsewhere Fest, like how did you get involved in that originally?
Well, Adam and Jesse Hartke are associated with Midtopia. Obviously, they are my partners in Cotillion. And they were, Midtopia is behind Elsewhere / Somewhere Fest now. And when it came down to needing some marketing assistance and some booking assistance, they tapped myself and my GM at the Cotillion here, Ryan Stevenson, to assist with coordinating operations and marketing for that event. So we're not involved in the talent buying whatsoever on that, but we are, performing other, live music type duties to help something of that size to basically work.
So I know Carbon was there at Elsewhere Fest last year. I don't know if Jen, TKG, were you guys there?
I was actually.
Oh, Jen Ray's a huge raver. I don't know if you knew this. She has a particular neon green rave outfit that she breaks out once every 5 years.
I was out of town last year, and I have not had that level of FOMO in a long time.
That was the highlight of my year.
It's going to be something I plan around this year.
Elsewhere Fest was probably like the number one coolest event of 2024.
Yeah, it was definitely. I don't know if any of you guys. I don't know the ages of everyone on this conversation, but I don't know if everyone remembers the old block parties that used to happen downtown. Mm-hmm. That's what it felt like before that stuff started getting kind of out of hand, and it was just kind of that vibe, right? A bunch of Wichitans walking around, which you don't usually see because Wichitans are like, what? There's not parking like 2 feet from the front door. I don't think I can go there. Or Wichitans walking upstairs to go to a business doesn't usually happen. You know what I mean? But to see that many people out, just walking around from on the footprint itself was just kind of cool,
I said the same thing. I'm like, every time I hear people complaining about the lack of community at some other events, I was like, Elsewhere Fest is the exact community that everyone talks about not having, and it existed, and with just the population and everybody moving was just incredible. It was a
People
vibe.
walk up and down St. Francis, going all the way from Wave, walking down to Barleycorns, to NASCAR Park, and it's people of all ages, and just enjoying themselves all night. It was, I remember when I was leaving the house to go there, I was like, I'm just going to be there for maybe a couple hours, just go check it out. Next thing I know, it's like 1 or 2 a.m. And I'm like, I just couldn't leave.
Open and close every night for me, too. It was, I didn't want to miss anything.
Yeah, it was open and closed for me, too, but for different reasons. Yeah.
So, and then Riverfest, what's your, since I have the Riverfest on, what's your participation with the Riverfest?
Yeah, we're helping to purchase the talent for Riverfest. So we were asked to go out and scout and book for that festival, and this will be our second year doing it. It's been a good experience. Riverfest is always one of those things that is polarizing to people, right? You can't please everyone, and so we have made a deliberate goal in booking Riverfest to appeal to the most amount of people possible, while also being budget-minded in this current economy. I think that if you talk to most business owners in multiple industries, they will tell you that there's been a pretty big slowdown from 23 to 24. Marking 24 is probably, I know for the concert business, probably one of the worst concert years that we've seen on hand, and just rising costs and lessening quantity of people coming out, which is always going to be problematic. So you kind of have to move with the times and just make reasonable choices on who you're going to book that will appeal to the most amount of people as possible, and that's a hard thing to do. So yeah, we set some realistic goals for booking Riverfest. We weren't trying to impress anybody. We're trying to help the organization book the proper talent for that event.
I'll say, for the complaints that come through every year about the lineup for Riverfest, if you go the actual nights of the concerts, it's a pretty big crowd. I think Kool and the Gang was the last show, the last year Riverfest, and that was, you saw a sea of people.
Yeah. No, I agree.
You hear the most chatter online, but those are also the people that haven't been in. They're like, I haven't been in 10 years. Well, then, what are you talking about?
Yeah. There's always going to be complainers. It's kind of like the same thing with the restaurant industry, right? Like, you're not going to please. For someone that finds your coleslaw delicious, someone's going to think it's trash, and that's just the way. That's their right. They're paying for it. They get to make that call, and I, have to sleep at night having nightmares about them hating my coleslaw.
Well,
Speaking of which, go on, TKG.
I was just going to say, speaking of coleslaw, I do like your new coleslaw, by the way, over there at Solly Jude's. It's
Yeah.
got some ginger in it. Is that right?
If any, very slight. It's just heavy on the garlic, and we use this. We use a spice blend that I'm rather fond of. Danos. No big surprise there. I just gave away the secret sauce.
Dun, dun, dun.
Go buy some Danos. It's a nice all-purpose seasoning, in my opinion.
Well,
So
I
with that-
really like it.
It's nice to transition, because last year you added Solly Jude's to your portfolio, and that's like the first full-scale restaurant. How's that been? What's the learning curve been like? Would you open up a second restaurant?
That's a trick question. Would I open a second restaurant? How about I just answer, what would I do differently in opening that first restaurant?
Okay.
We knew the location we were going into was challenging. It's a up and coming neighborhood that's heavily trafficked. We all know the problems north of the arena in the restaurants that have existed in that pocket, and I've observed it for years, because for several years I owned Barleycorn. So I looked at Hand in the Heart or something. What not? And that's a band.
Hungry,
What was
the
that?
Hungry Heart.
Hungry Heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looked at them and other places that I'd gone in there, and the problem they faced was not enough regular foot traffic, but really immense traffic during an arena event, and that's going to be hard to subsist on. You're going to see being unprepared and short-staffed and low inventory on those heavy nights, and not used to being able to turn those tables on those heavy nights, and then probably be dead the rest of the time. So, my thought with the south of the arena was actually dedicated parking, and the fact that Waterman does have a lot of daytime traffic of people driving downtown to work. My hope was they would come there for lunch and then choose it as an after-work potential drinking hole, like for after-work drinks or happy hours. That really hasn't fully developed. And so, we struggled in year one, and we reduced hours, just to try to kind of stem the flow of cash that's flying out the door. But and we stabilized a little bit, but we have a lot more to go. Luckily, January sees a pretty big multi-day or week event in figure skating, and then we have a March Madness coming up, in which we are going to be doing several parking lot parties, and we're renting out Solly and Jude to companies to be able to enjoy the arena festivities and be so close to the games. So, in short, what would I do differently? I mean, I would definitely make some different calls on what we spent money on. I would choose different contractors to execute the build. I would have hired an architect right off the bat to help us navigate through the city, because we faced a ton of challenges, including we were ready to open up in September, and we got the fatal yellow sticker of death from the city of Wichita shutting us down until they could approve a couple of fixes in the build out. So, those were really tough blows and help us get into kind of an undercapitalized situation. But I think we recovered fairly well, and the arena should really bring a lot of exposure to the restaurant. But yes, I mean, my whole goal with Solly and Jude's was to develop something that can be franchised and grown, and that hasn't happened yet in location one. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. We'll really have to see where this year takes us. But we're still here, we're still making it work, just barely. And I would think that a lot of restaurateurs might indicate that that's something that happens in the first couple years of opening a business. They're going to really struggle, and then they'll hit a groove. Only a select few of us are lucky enough to just show up to the scene and be the coolest people at the party.
Yeah.
So right now I'm kind of the math nerd sitting at a picnic table by myself. So
Jen, I mean, when you opened up the Monarch in Delano wasn't the booming scene it is now. So what was that like for you that first year?
I felt a lot of what you just said, Alex, because people thought I was really dumb for opening up in Delano. I mean, they just couldn't believe I would do something that ridiculous. I lived down on Calmer Street for quite a while, and I would have killed to have a bar and a restaurant within safe walking distance of my apartment. You're in such a great location. It's just that everything in Wichita has to move at the way slower pace than is reasonable. So the question is, can you, just keep your feet underneath you until you become, you're going to be in the middle of something really, really great, especially when that biomed center gets there.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? We hear all those points, right? Like there's luxury condos, apartments being built out. There's the biomed campus. You're right, yeah. So it's really just a matter of what we can do with the March Madness, and I agree. I like the location as well, and actually, it's really cool sitting there on our patio and looking over at the train bridge and having the arena right there. It's a cool spot, and I like the build out that we did. I think it's an attractive space. We'll just have to.
And don't forget that all of these cool kids that come right out of the gate with these super amazing places are also most likely sitting on a super amazing pile of debt right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was dead ass broke when we opened, and I continued to be dead broke. I mean, broke for years. And I think that's one of the best things that ever happened to me, because I'm really wise with my money now and how I save it, and I didn't overspend when we opened. I think restaurants that come in and really, really super overspend when they open have a lot more to lose than the rest of us who got things done reasonably and are, having to watch our money.
You know what we should do, Carbon? We should do a little dinner series over at Solly and Jude's. Bring out the DJ equipment. We'll sell some tickets, pack the place up for one night, introduce people that have never been there, get them on the tots. Maybe get a nice old fashioned.
Dude, I want some tots right now.
I recommend it constantly. I once had a wedding at the Hudson, and they had booked out Solly and Jude's for an after party. So late night tot snacks and the drinks. I was like, I want every wedding I've ever had over here to do this, because it's block over, and man, I mean, not even that. And it was, I'm like, this is how you end a wedding. Send everyone home with a full belly. This is the way to do it. I recommended it to multiple people, multiple Hudson bookings. It's a great spot, man. I got
an opening in February, Alex. If you want to
let's do it.
Dinner series. I have a question though. So you do have the Solly and Jude's food truck, and on that food truck there are fried Uncrustables that are absolutely amazing. What would be the chances of having those at Solly and Jude's that day of? Do you have them there, or?
Yeah, we have them there. We just haven't officially put them on the menu. But if you go, do the secret sign for peanut butter and jelly, kind of like this, you do have to do this.
Yeah.
Yum, yum. That's the secret sign. So you got to walk in and do this. Yum, yum.
Okay.
And they'll, don't do that. They'll laugh at you.
Power Ranger.
Don't do it. Don't do that. Yeah, just ask. Yeah.
Okay.
Just ask Julian or whoever serving you if you can. Yeah, because we keep them there. We just haven't really broken them out there. Because I'm doing a big menu revamp. I've been saying that for 2 months, but I need to add them on there. But they do. They're there, and we have a fryer, so you can have them there.
When you're ready to do that menu revamp, let's get on a group chat. You, me, Carbon, and we'll get a date set. We'll sell some tickets. Sweet. What's the capacity of the place? Just curious.
75.
75. Okay. All right.
But we could do something in the parking lot when it's warm.
We're usually in the 40 to 50 ticket sales. I like a nice chill event where everybody can just hang out and talk to each other. It's not so crowded. Yeah. So real quick, we got to move on to a couple other segments. The Cotillion, Kirby's, Lava and Tonic, Lucky's.
Yeah.
What got you in on all that?
Well, it started with Kirby's. I played in a band for years, and I was lead singer in a ska band called Ophil. We played in Wichita from like 1994 till, and I mean, really, we played at least a show a year from 1994 till 2016. With 2016 being the last show we ever played, and that was Riverfest, opening for Fishbone, and then we had Fishbone down at Barleycorns. So, and we opened for them at Barleycorns. So, I played in that band, and we used to play Kirby's all the time, and it was our home. And I got to know the owner there, and he passed away. And Kirby's was kind of in a black hole, and no one knew what was going to happen. His sister ended up putting it up for sale, and I bought it. I was an independent contractor designing Splurge magazine and Vibe high school sports magazine, shooting photos, laying out the pages and advertising. And I took it on, and after that, someone told me Lucky's were for sale. So then I went and talked to the owner of Lucky's for a year, just warming him up to a price, and bought it, and then bought the building, and then Barleycorns actually got offered to me, and it was for sale. So I got a hold of Adam Harkey and another friend of mine, Brian Cunningham, and we renovated Barleycorns and ran it for 5 years, sold it, and then someone hit us up about the Cotillion. It's just kind of spiraled. A lot of that happened because I had my business partner goes to Hawaii all the time, and he, was searching for a tiki bar, and he wasn't happy with the tiki bars that were there on the Big Island, and he hit me up because he knew I was doing bars, and he said, I think Wichita needs a tiki bar, and I said, I don't think it does. I don't know what you're talking about. But I didn't really understand, exactly what he meant, because I think off the cuff I was like, it's just you're looking for a kitschy bar, like a beach vibe, and it doesn't make sense in Wichita. But I went to go see Hamilton in Chicago, and I was staying with my girlfriend at the time at a hotel in this neighborhood, and we were looking for a place to smoke a cigarette. And just so you know, you can't smoke a cigarette anywhere in Chicago anymore, basically, unless you're walking by yourself. But we were looking for a bar like that had an outdoor patio, but even outdoor patios don't allow smoking. But I saw this ad on Yelp for a place called Three Dots and a Dash, and I was like, cool, we'll walk by there. So I look at the address, pull it up on my space phone, start walking towards this place, and I don't see it. And I'm like, it says it's right here, and there's nothing that says, Three Dots and a Dash. So we end up going to a crappy sports bar, and then we come back and I'm like, I don't really want to find this place. So I kind of walk down the block halfway and look down the alley, and I see 2 tiki torches lit and this gigantic dude with like an earpiece in. I'm like, that's got to be it. Walk over, and he leads us downstairs into the basement of this building that's only accessed through the alley, and it's Three Dots and Three Dots and a Dash, and it's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. It's like this elegant nightclub, huge, with all these nautical, tropical themes, and the drinks are crazy, and the food was crazy. And so after that, I called my buddy. I was like, hey, dude, if you want to do a tiki bar, I'll do it. You got to do it with me. And that's how it started. He was like, okay, let's do it. So, yeah, it's just really been organic. It's been one thing led to another, to where it just bar business and Cotillion and those things all were just business negotiations, business opportunities that were, that you take a stringer on, and hopefully have enough people surrounding you to help, run the multiple places. So
what I'm gathering, and for all the listeners at home, if you have something you want to sell, contact Alex, and chances are he'll likely say yes.
As long as it's not a restaurant, I'm cool.
You've never really lived until you have conquered the phrase 4 skulls.
Ha! Yeah.
Which is a brutal endeavor to take on.
It is. Now
but
imagine.
I've done it. I've done it once.
You're
and
talking
I live
about
to tell the story.
You're talking about a zombie.
It's ramen mint. I think that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So testing out Love and Tonic, was a really dark time in my life because I was constantly drinking these heavy rum drinks. We were conceptualizing the menu, and I had to be in there all the time. And it's like, bro, I cannot drink 4 of these tiki drinks a day. It's going to be the death of me. So yeah, so that's the deal. But yeah, it's been a good steady Freddy. We haven't reinvented the wheel or knocked our socks off and bought a condo in Hawaii with the profits. But considering we opened in October of 2019, and by March of 2020, COVID had shut us down, I'm pretty impressed that we're still around.
I picked up a few of the drive-thru drinks during that era.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, though, but I believe, this is a rumor, I heard the zombie drink was so strong they actually cured COVID.
Or caused it.
Yeah.
Could have caused it.
If anybody's never been, check out Lava and Tonic. It's a very cool tiki bar over on Douglas in, what's that district called? Douglas Design District.
Douglas Design District, yeah.
Yeah. Really cool place. And it's a really cool date night, really cool place to go to with friends for just an outing. Yeah, highly recommended. Lastly, last note, Alex, you're now still in the music industry singing. And you are with Monterey Jack. Has anybody ever seen Monterey Jack play? I know
Are
Kirby
you Wichita
had.
if you haven't?
Yeah.
Man, I feel like that's the institution, right?
When will they be playing next, or you will be playing next? Do you have any gigs lined up?
Well, we are playing a sold-out show where it's a Beatles tribute for the musical youth. I can't remember what the organization's called, but Music Youth Partnership, and it will be at Oddfellow Hall, and we're starting it's a bacchanal, so it's like a big party.
In February.
There's a theme, and it's in February. What am I looking at here?
February 8th from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Hey, see, that's why you're the social media partner. You know my dates better than I do. Yes, and we'll be opening up the set as Monterey Jack with a couple guest musicians playing 2 Beatles songs, Sgt. Pepper's and Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club and Magical Mystery Tour. And after that, we played Jerry's. In sometime in February. I don't really. You can look it up, guys. I don't know. I don't know.
You can find it on the Wichita by EB live music calendar if you're ever curious. All right.
Visit Wichita Furniture and Mattress this Saturday for our big customer appreciation event. Enter to win incredible prizes all day long, including a recliner, sofa, bedroom group, Tempur-Pedic mattress, and more. Get in line early. The first 25 customers will get $50 to spend with no minimum purchase. Plus, one lucky customer will get their purchase for free and save up to 50% off all clearance accessories. Don't miss the big customer appreciation event this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. only at Wichita Furniture and Mattress.
Well, appreciate the time, Alex. Now we're going to hop into what everybody did this past weekend. In case you missed it, if you're out of town, I know, Carbon, you're out of town. It was a pretty snowy weekend, a lot of residual snow from the snowstorm we had. I spent most of my time, sledding. Took my daughter out for the first time. Also checked out Snow Glow. It took place over at the Mid-America All-Indian Museum. There's a big hill just to the left of it, and this was from 6 to 9 p.m., and you had kids nonstop going up and down this hill. They had DJs playing, lights going on, food trucks, really cool event. I heard they almost doubled their ticket sales from last year. So the city really came out. I think they're just tired of being cooped up all week with all the closures, and really cool times. Carbon, you're out in Vegas, huh?
Yes, I left the snow-covered grounds for slightly warmer temperatures, significantly warmer, but still had to bundle up. But yeah, no, we did the Vegas trip. It was some couple friends, and it was a birthday celebration. So we left on Thursday, got back on Sunday, and it was a whirlwind, man, as Vegas should be if you're doing it right. But I'm not a big gambler, but no, we got to go to Meow Wolf. We got some delicious eats, all the dumplings, some Guy Fieri, this
nice.
and that. We did a lot. And I actually put my phone down, and I tried not to take pictures of everything, which is difficult. I'm like, nope, I'm just enjoying this. So, but it was great. Got to see one of my good friends. She was part of a drag show. I got to see one of the RuPaul drag race winners was hosting a night. And then we did a whole dive bar tour of all the dive bars in Vegas. Was one of the nights. Everything off the strip. So the Double Down is legendary. It was really cool to see that. It's like a Kirby's. About 3 times the size, but very similar vibes. Stickers, not an inch of the original wall can be seen. Stickers everywhere, dollar bills. It's great.
Is that the one with the big patio in the back that's connected to the next door that has a big food truck out back?
No. Double Down is over by the airport. I don't think there's a patio. If there was, I didn't see it. But that might have been older because there's a big dispensary right next door, so they might have changed some stuff. It's got their go-to shot is ass juice. It's their staple. It was just a great dumpy little dive. A lot of acts have played there over the years. It's been an institution for a long, long time. And, that was totally our vibe. Jukebox with nothing but local indie punk and a few Vegas classics of Frank and the such. But it was just a cool jukebox. No touch tunes. It was old school, actual jukebox. So it was a great time. Great time in Vegas.
Very cool. All right. Upcoming events for the weekend. Weathers will be dropping down to the 20s again, so with that, you might be looking for some indoor activities. First off, Thursday, January 16th at Tor Brewing from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. is Batch and Brews. It's a great time to listen to classical music and enjoy craft beers and excellent burgers at Tor Brewing. On Friday, January 17th, at Bubbles Champagne Bar, it's Soberfest. So sober living, dry January, or just sober curious, this event is for you. It's a cocktail bartending competition, non-alcoholic wine tasting, CBD sippers, mushroom, coffee samples, and more. Then on January 18th and Sunday, January 19th at Century 2 is Cars for Charity Rod and Custom Car Show. And then to round it out, January 18th at Wichita Brewing Event Center, it is Beer Fest 2025. It's their 4th annual mental health fundraiser. They're bringing in 40-plus breweries, hailing from 28 different states across America. Next up, things in the community. There's been lots of theft, vandalism. I mean, Jen, you had someone run into your building. When was that? A couple weeks ago?
Yeah, back December 19th.
So almost a month ago. Yeah, someone ran into the building and tore down a wall. Luckily, some of the... 2 walls, okay. Well, there's more vandalism going on around town. There's an uptick in vandalism and theft at comic and collectible card stores. So Wizards Alley, Rated E, Pink Elephant Games Cafe, One Drop Shop, Mopigs, and others are working together to ask the community for help. Over the past month, thousands and thousands, I mean, you're talking over $10,000 worth of damage in stolen collectibles like Pokemon cards have taken place. So now there's a $2,000 cash reward if you can help catch those people involved. Anybody with information, please contact BAM at Wizards Alley. Up next in the community, we had 2 restaurants open recently. Gorditas Porfias recently opened at 511 Northwest Street in the former Cholitos Birria place. I stopped by last weekend. Excellent tacos, excellent gorditas. They used to own a restaurant over on East Central and North Broadway, so this is like the 3rd iteration. Definitely worthwhile. And then the Sweet Spot. They used to be over on, was it West Central? And they've recently moved to the former Doma space at 7703 East Douglas. I stopped by Sunday night for my brother's birthday. Had a really cool time, really great meal. The sad part was we were the only diners there for probably 2-hour span on a Sunday night. So if you want to show some love to a place that just opened in a new spot, give them a try. Their soft opening took place like one of the days of the snowstorm. So they've had a tough go of it the first couple weeks.
So 2 questions. One,
Yeah.
so is West Sweet Spot gone now then?
It's gone, yep. That one's closed, and then they moved to Doma.
With the Doma location, did they keep the cool patio seating type setup? Or
I mean, it was
what does
snowed
that look
over.
like?
I stopped by, I took some pictures of it. It was closed off the time just because there's so much snow. But the
Gotcha.
interior was, they renovated a lot of it. It's really upscale, really sleek. Check it out. And then lastly,
I'll check it out
this news just dropped on Monday. Le Monde Cafe and Deli at 602 Northwest Street is closing after 30 years in business. The last day for to get your hands on Le Monde will be Monday, January 20th.
Damn.
Wow.
Damn. Where did you see? I can't believe
That just dropped like an hour before recording. So
See, that's why you're the social media guy.
He's the
hey,
plug.
trying,
He's the plug.
so it's crazy to see a restaurant. And Le Monde has struggled a lot over the past. I mean, a lot of restaurants have. I know they've had a lot of pleas for help. People come in and visit them, and I think it just kind of caught to them, and they made the decision to close down.
That's crazy. That's a great restaurant too.
It's a
And
lost history.
30 years
and
is a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many years you
Can
at,
you
Jen?
imagine 30 years from now for Solly and Jude, you'd be ready to sell it too.
It only is going to take me 3. I mean, I'm ready to sell it now.
Jen, you looking to add to your portfolio?
No, I've got my hands full. I'm going to stay where I'm at and work. What have I got? 18 more years till I hit that mark, and then I'm going to close as well.
What mark is that?
You're at 12
The
right now?
30-year mark.
You're at 12
Oh.
right now? I mean, what percentage of
Max.
restaurants make it to 12 years? It's got to be under 5%.
No, that's
12.
a very tracked metric.
Well, they
the
have
first 5 years, that's the really, really dicey time where the bulk of restaurants close.
Yep.
We have a very slim margin of success. I don't know why any of us decided that this would be an amazing gamble, but here we are.
I've been approached a few times about partnering on opening a restaurant, but it took me very little time to say no, thank you.
Yeah. It's a lot of work.
The thing about it is the whole restaurant game has changed, and it changes, quite continuously. So, if you look at a place like Le Monde, I mean that's a pretty big building, right? And for 30 years being able to support whatever that was, whether it was rent or they owned that building, I mean, it's a pretty impressive task. I don't think they serve. Do they serve wine and beer and booze? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
So, I mean, the thing about it is that's the major problem with Solly Jude's. It's not the food. And if you go back and look at my projections, like my projections for food sales is way low. Like, we've done way more food sales. What we haven't done was the liquor sales I thought we would do, because that's the great equalizer, you know what I mean? That's why I mostly own bars. There's just a lot more forgiving margin and not a lot of waste compared to food. And so you look at Le Monde, or like if you think of the old Quan Court, I don't know if anyone remembers the old Quan Court. You walk into there, and that's or what's Margaritas on Douglas. You walk into those places, and it takes you back to going into a restaurant in the '80s. Never have you ever walked into a building that was like multi-tiered, multi-floors, but that's a restaurant. Nowadays, it's like makes more sense to have something that seats 40 people, and it just has a lot lower overhead. But times are changing, and could Le Monde? It's kind of weird that Le Monde's going out while Medis is proliferating. You know what I mean? Which I'm not a Medis hater. I actually dig Medis, but it's
Medis is good.
Yeah, Medis is good. But why is it working for Medis and not for Le Monde?
I think people are into that fast casual concept.
Yep.
Time's moving fast. They want in and out, sit down restaurants. I just don't know. I think, and on top of that, there's been an influx of Mediterranean restaurants over the past 5-10 years. So Le Monde, have they fallen behind? I don't know. All right. Up next, we got the Stick and TKG's Craw. This is a nice little opinion piece from TKG. Have at it.
Well, thank you, Eddie. I appreciate it. My problem today are the people that host guests without the proper shower towels. I've experienced it before. When I am a guest at someone's house, I'm just finishing my regularly scheduled morning shower, and I grab for what turns out to be a soft, velvety towel. It pisses me off. A soft, velvety towel does not even dry. It doesn't get the water off. You have to pat dry. A harder, coarser towel works a ton better for drying. And the dry is the most important factor for a towel. Eddie, you pat dry with those soft, velvety towels. I rub dry. People hosting guests should have dry, aged towels. Back to you, Eddie.
How do you know how I even dry myself with a towel?
I
It's
can't
kind of
answer
concerning.
that.
Okay, so what's worse, a velvety towel, or if you went to someone's house and all you had was a little hand rag?
I want a ratty towel. That's what I want.
What kind of bougie ass friends do you have that have velvety towels?
Yeah, we don't have
What is a
towels around.
velvety towel?
What is a velvety
These are
towel?
things that women aspire to have. I mean, we're digging into a much deeper issue here.
I think you're right. So you're saying if I was a guest at your home, I'd be reaching for a soft velvety towel?
I might specifically put out the soft velvety towel to impress you.
Are we talking about
And
a
now you're
mic?
just blowing the lid off of common guest knowledge at this point.
Are we talking about
You need to pack your own towel.
Are we talking about microfiber when we say velvety towel? I'm not, because all I can keep on thinking is wiping my hands on James Brown's cape.
When you have that towel, and in order to get yourself dry, you have to pat rather than, you can't rub it dry. That's what we're talking about.
So yeah, like a microfiber. Yeah.
So we have some nice thick towels at home. I'm not big fans of them, so what I did, I went to Walmart and bought some cheap towels, and those are the ones I use. Everybody else at home uses these nice towels. I use, lower end towels. That's all I was used to growing up, and makes you feel like home. Interesting.
I got nothing on this one.
Interesting stick
I got
in your
nothing.
craw. All right, online shoutouts. Ann Hallowell wants to shout out the studios on Market. They are celebrating their grand opening this Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. or 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. 14 new beauty businesses are having their ribbon cutting at this new downtown salon collective. Kelly Quigley wants to shout out the Fusion Restaurant and Catering. She took her 83-year-old mother to the restaurant and went above and beyond for her. Sarah Eck wants to shout out her new bookmobile, an excellent story bookmobile, which is prepping to launch this summer. And then lastly, ICT Food Rescue wants to shout out Todd Bryan's Brick Street Cafe for donating 110 box lunches. Todd Bryan's had an unfortunate canceling of a catering event and donated the meals, which went to Union Rescue Mission of Wichita. So shout out to them. For those that don't know, they recently closed down their downtown location and is moving to 8641 West 13th Street and taking over the former Hurricanes Wings space. And it's going to be called Todd's Creole Kitchen. So be on the lookout for that one.
For sure.
All
I'm
right.
excited.
Let's round things out. What's good in Wichita? This is a time for everyone to come prepared with something cool, heartwarming they've seen, a place that deserves a shout out, someone doing good in the community. I'll begin. So earlier this week, I did a little plea for help. I asked for people to support the small businesses. I think with the winter storm, they went through a lot of closures. I mean, there are businesses that didn't even open for 2 to 3, maybe 4 days. There's a lot of lost revenue, lost wages. So I challenged people in the community to support 7 local businesses this week. I've had a lot of DMs, a lot of tags about people going out, checking out new restaurants, checking out local businesses, stopping in just to say hi, leaving a good review. So big shout out to everyone who's hopping on board with this little venture. TKG.
Thanks, Eddie. I want to shout out Glenn. Here's a photo of Glenn on the screen, as you can see. Glenn left Wichita last Thursday on January 9th to help fight the California wildfires for 2 weeks. And this article also talks about how there are 5 others from the state of Kansas that went out there to help feed and shelter those that lost their homes. And I just want to shout out the people that are doing something to help out there. And I actually posted about my limited experience, which I won't get into, but the house that I lived in for a good number of years, 6-7 years, completely gone. So my shout out is to Glenn and all those people that are doing something. And that's sort of a means to say, not a shout out to all those people that want to make everything about politics. So,
All right. Carbon.
So while out in Vegas, I love exploring. I love finding the niche spots. And when you have such a population, it's kind of easy to do those things. So Wichita is a tough market because everyone tries to be all things to all people instead of going after that niche. And, like Alex was talking about, Lava and Tonic it's a niche thing. It's available for everybody, but it's a specific thing. I also feel like Kirby's is one of those environments. We have these handful of niche businesses, and those are the ones that are I gotta go see these things. I gotta stop. And I just so appreciate these. You were talking about some of the gaming places that we have. There's just some unique places, and any chance you have to support those types of businesses the only way we can grow is by these businesses succeeding, because again, I understand it. It's we have a difficult population where to be niche, you need enough of a population to go do those things. So it's a lot easier to be all things to all people than kind of cut yourself off from that. So while I was out there, again, a lot of niche stuff, a lot of dive bar visits, a lot of just fun times where I got into a very specific thing. And so for those that are pushing those things in this market, just salute to you and giving the opportunity for us to get something a little bit different than the baseline. It's just really appreciated. I love it. So find your local niche business, something you're into, something you're not into, and go check it out and explore it, man. Highly recommended.
It's an awesome shout out there. I like that. A lot of good diversity for the businesses. Alex. You got one?
Yo. Yeah, I want to give a shout out to. Okay, so every year we do a benefit concert at Kirby's called Meat Fest, and that's happening this weekend. The point of the auction, or the point of the event, is to raise money for the Wichita State endowment. We have a endowed scholarship at Wichita State for the School of Art. And it is basically funded through the Kirby's community donating items to be auctioned off, coming through, supporting the show, bringing meat to be grilled, and bidding on auction items. So a bunch of artists like Wade Hampton have donated pretty big, sizable pieces to this event. And I would just like to give a shout out to all those people that support that event by donating items and spending money. We've been able to grow that fund to well over $65,000. It has been dispensing scholarships to WSU art students for the last 8-9 years. So really good to show that a community like that, which you would normally think, no one would really ever understand, that Kirby's was able to actually raise enough money to have an endowment. And if you guys don't know what that means, an endowment lives forever. It basically self-sustains and dispenses a portion of the profits. So it long after all of us on this Zoom call are gone, it should still be around. So that has been grown, $5, $10, $50 at a time. So if you think about that, it makes it even more impressive that community came around and really brought that kind of money together. I'm really proud of it. So I want to give those people a shout out for supporting such a cool niche community, as you said, Carbon, like Kirby's.
And for those that don't know, I missed it. Yeah, Meat Fest, 25th anniversary, January 17th through the 19th at Kirby's Beer Store. Also events taking place at Kirby's Flipside. I mean, there's like 30-plus musical artists that will be there. Be like Hey Radio.
It's a must go to.
Yeah, vehicles.
Like, just find a time, at least for an hour, go there and partake in Meat Fest.
Yeah, speaking of staying warm, you will not be warm at Meat Fest. It's going to be miserable, but we're still going to be there, and there will be a grill going, and that is the weird juxtaposition of that event,
All right. Jen, take us home.
I feel like I have a lot of shout outs.
Let's hear 'em.
But I think I want to shout out Hutton Construction. We've mentioned a few times I had an entire truck go through the corner of my building and ruined my front patio and 2 rooms. And that's a really overwhelming, shitty thing to go through. I had no idea what was happening. I still have no idea what's happening. But they have been so kind to answer all of my phone calls and take the lead on this and really kind of treat me with kid gloves. And I think it really speaks to the culture at that company and how they treat their clients and their partners. And I've been really, really thankful and impressed by them and by everybody that we've worked with. This was a really crappy situation that could have honestly been a lot worse had the staff still been there. And the way that the community has surrounded us and checked on us and taken care of us really reminds me why we're so lucky to call Wichita home.
Awesome.
I think Hutton might have been a little selfish because when I went there, because I did their holiday party, we were talking about the Monarch around the corner, and they're like, "Oh, you mean our lunchroom?" So
yeah,
they might have selfishly just said, "Yeah, we just need to get this fixed so we can get back to our lunchroom."
Yeah.
All right. Well, Jen, thank you for hopping on. This was like last second. I was like, Annette called in sick. I'm like, we got to get someone on. Jen was quick to answer, respond. Appreciate you hopping on last second. To our guest, Alex, it was a pleasure having you on. Be on the lookout for Wichita by EB Dinner Series at Solly Jude's. We'll find a date. Carbon.
That'd be great.
We're going to play some tunes, get some fried Uncrustables.
You got it.
All right.
I'll even find the Nutella ones and bring them down,
Ooh, okay. I'm sold. All right. To everyone watching at home, appreciate you taking time out of your night to watch us. Thank you. You've all been excused from the dinner table.